The settled systems, a region defined by opportunity. Having the right ship can take you a long way. One that operates reliably, adapts to changing conditions, and supports a wide range of mission profiles. Introducing the SR-3 Horizon class, a multi-role transport from Lindan Engineering Corporation. Designed as a limited production run, the Horizon pays homage to the legendary SR-2 Normandy, developed by Cerberus. Downsized, re-engineered, and adapted for the civilian and commercial markets of the settled systems. Performance is rivaled only by smaller, purpose-built craft, thanks to 4 anti-proton thrusters, each equipped with forward and aft exhaust channels that propel the Horizon to exceptional sublight speeds. A robust FS fusion core powers every onboard system, from propulsion and life support to the ship's Mantalus Grav drive, ensuring reliable operation across extended multi-system routes. Integrated CHI anti-grav modules underneath the ship allow the Horizon to maintain a sustained hover while landing, enabling flexible deployment on uneven terrain, undeveloped worlds, and locations where traditional landing solutions fall short. Though firmly positioned within the civilian market, the Horizon class arrives with a level of capability rarely seen in its class. Standard armament includes a long-range Javelin Disruptor Torpedo Launcher, wingtip and chin-mounted Mark IV Thanix-class laser repeaters, and twin Chimera-class mass accelerator railguns, offering exceptional deterrence against hostile threats. Defensive coverage is handled by a multi-core kinetic barrier shield system, delivering layered protection without compromising the ship's agility or range. Its interior is designed for long-range travel and extended operations, featuring comfortable crew accommodations, a Class 1 medical bay, expanded cargo hold with armory and gear storage, and a state-of-the-art navigation core capable of managing complex, multi-system journeys with ease. The SR-3 Horizon-class transport from Lindan Engineering Corporation stands as a refined expression of a legendary design, reimagined from those who expect capability without compromise.
Captain, incoming hostile ships, Sector 3. Weapon systems coming online.
Alright shipwrights, welcome to the first Starfield build of 2026. I know it's early, but I hope the new year is going well for you so far. Now, I started uploading build guides a couple months after the game came out, and if I'm not mistaken, I think the SR-2 Normandy was the first build request that I've ever gotten. It was either the Normandy or the Razor Crest. I forget, but either way, this one is very much long overdue. The lore behind the SR-3 Horizon is that it's the commercial variant and sister ship to the SR-2 Normandy for the Mass Effect series. The Horizon is manufactured by LEC for the Settled Systems market, and it's designed to be a multi-role transport as opposed to the stealth frigate that the Normandy is. Due to its heavy price tag, the Horizon is favored by mid-tier exploration outfits, private contractors, and corporate executives. Now I do want to mention that this is only a recreation in appearance because one of the biggest differences between this ship and the actual Normandy is the overall size. So the SR-2 Normandy is over 200 meters long and nearly 100 meters wide, while being 5 decks tall, not including the wings. For the sake of usability in Starfield, this build is significantly smaller at 82 meters long, 58 meters wide, and with a height of about 20 meters. So don't even bother with interior accuracy on this one, it's just not going to be possible. As far as the cost to build this ship, you're going to need about 1.7 million credits to build it exactly the way I do here, and the most expensive items are the Mantalus components, which include the Nebula SF3 Grav drive, the HMF shield generator, and the heavy fuel cells. These add up to over 1 million credits, while the rest of the ship costs around 240,000 credits. There are some other expensive but optional parts that I used in this build. These include the multi-purpose sensor suite, which comes from the Mattel's HABs and accessories mod. This is an equipment component that combines a scan jammer, a comm spike, and a conduction grid all into one part, and it costs 90,000 credits. There's also 3 of the Badtech Deimos bellies, which add 1500 cargo capacity each, but they also cost 8,000 credits, versus what should be 450 for the vanilla part. Now if you take all of these out and you use vanilla parts instead, that'll bring the rest of the ship down to about 100,000 credits, not including components and weapons. For the mod situation, I do use Falkland hams and a Falkland Swift bridge for the interior, but other than that, Falkland Systems isn't necessary for this build. You just need to make sure that you use a mod that has the same Overseer bridge with a door. I normally use vanilla bridges with doors, which is a creations mod, but it's only available for PC. So if you're on Xbox, you can use the Mattel's Cockpits and Bridges mod, which has a selection of the vanilla bridges, but with doors. ASC Deimos by Whizziker is another paid mod that I used, but I used it sparingly with just some parts sprinkled throughout the ship. While most of them aren't really necessary, the main reason why I use this mod is for the vertical stabilizer tails. There are alternatives that you can use for the tail, but in my opinion, the ASC Deimos vertical stabilizers look the most accurate. And as mentioned earlier, I do use Badtech, but it's only for the Badtech version of the Deimos bellies. There's one last thing to note. Due to the downswept engine nacelle design of the Normandy, this build doesn't have traditional landing gear. Instead, I use a CHI Model 1 landing thrust module from the Cross Heavy Industries Ship System Modules mod by Jackson Cross, which covers the landing thrust requirements for this ship. So, when this ship lands, it floats 2 HAB heights above the ground. That means that a traditional landing bay also doesn't work here, so you have to install one that's taller than the typical single level landing bay. There's a few ways you can go about this, but the 2 that make the most sense are to use the X-Wing bays from the old big X-Wing mod by Election iStar, or by using the tall lift landing bays from Mattel's HABs and accessories, which utilizes a tall retractable platform lift. If you use the X-Wing method, you'll see the prompt to enter the ship from the ground within a red glowing area under the ship, and then you just load into the ship. I do start the build off with this, but I eventually switch over to the tall lift landing bay because it feels more immersive, but feel free to choose whichever option you prefer. Okay, sorry, I'm adding this in at the last minute, but if you want the nose to look a little more accurate with those mandible looking prongs at the front of the ship, you can use these parts from the Antares Star Foundry mod. They're called the Vesper Wing Array Ailerons, and all you have to do is just place them back to back at the front instead of the ASC Deimos single frequency scan jammers that I use. And with that all being said, the build process isn't complicated and you shouldn't have too many issues with part leveling or merging here, as long as you have the right mods. Refer to my parts and mod list timestamp just to make sure that you have everything you needed. And always remember, if you have any questions or if you get stuck anywhere, feel free to reach out to me in the comments. Alright, if you made it this far, thank you very much for watching. Since Starfield's release, this is probably one of the top 5 most requested ships that I've gotten, so this build was really long overdue, and I hope this first build of 2026 was a nice way to kickstart the new year. And now that 2026 is here, the goal is to get a ship mod or ship pack out there. If I do figure this all out, it won't be until after the next major update. Just want to avoid any potential compatibility issues because I'm not tech savvy enough to troubleshoot that kind of stuff. I think I'll most likely create a few ship packs first that are role ship related, just so I can practice, and then I'll work on some kind of all-in-one mod with a POI, and hopefully quests, once I get a little better with the CK. Staying on the subject of Starfield, I've got a mix of unique ships and inspired recreations lined up that I can't wait to show you, one of which I know is already going to be one of my favorite ships of the year. For No Man's Sky, I'm going to try and do a larger ship build, but nothing crazy, something that can fit like a crew of 5 to 8. I've been doing a lot of small to medium sized ships because rebuilding larger ships for a build guide in this game is not easy. Like, building ships is really fun, but having to rebuild it by memory for a build guide is tough, so bear with me there. And last thing, I started a second channel where I'll be uploading and featuring most of the songs that you hear in my videos. It's called Starbound Drift, and if you like the music, I'd love it if you can subscribe over there as well. As always, feel free to reach out to me in the comments if you have any questions or build requests, or if you just want to chat all things Starfield and No Man's Sky shipbuilding. This is Lindan, signing off. See you in the Starfield.